In the wake of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the Sonic brand seems to be in its best state in over a decade. It wasn't since Sonic Generations that the character has been in the limelight or discussed as positively as he's being talked about now. After a complete decade of unsuccessful experimentation and mediocre mainline releases, Sonic seemingly found his footing once again with Sonic the Hedgehog, the 2020 film adaptation released right before the COVID-19 pandemic. The Sonic film is by and large regarded as one of the best video game film adaptations of all time, making over $200 million in the box office and being well received among audiences and critics alike. The Sonic film franchise's momentum does not seem to be stopping anytime soon. Paramount, the creators of the Sonic film, seems to have the utmost faith in its upcoming sequel. Considering how well the film is being advertised, I have no doubt Sonic the Hedgehog 2 will be an even larger success than the original, especially seeing as how this time around, it looks like they're paying much more mind to the character's source material. As a fan of the first film, this is all amazing to hear, but as a fan of the Sonic video game franchise, I can't help but feel a bit disappointed. Sega hasn't treated Sonic even close to as well as Paramount has. I can't believe I have to say this, but Sonic Frontiers, the newest mainline Sonic title that's being released on the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, hasn't received marketing even remotely as good as what is supposed to be its derivative. Sonic Frontiers is releasing this year and still only has a tentative release date. It's barely being advertised, and Sega hasn't even shown gameplay for what's supposedly its largest release of the year. In this video, I'll be delving into how the Sonic franchise got to this point. How is Sonic excelling so easily as a multimedia franchise, while the medium he started in, he's so consistently lacking? And what could Sega do to repair the Sonic brand and make it as respected as it once was? I welcome you all to Sonic is no longer a video game character. I hope you all enjoy. There have been 4 instances, I'd say, when the Sonic brand was at its strongest. The first, of course, being during the Genesis era, from 1991 to 1994, the Dreamcast era, from years 1999 to 2003, the years 2010 and 2011 of the Meta era, and now 2020, and what is hopefully for the foreseeable future. The 2 eras I think that are most relevant to today's video are the supposed Dark Age of Sonic and the Meta era. Let's tackle them both one by one. Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, from now referred to as Sonic 06, are both generally regarded as 2 of the worst entries in the Sonic franchise, and are pivotal points as to when the Sonic brand began to decline. From this point on, Sonic became a laughingstock in the gaming industry.
Sonic was never good.
While each mainline entry and the various spin-offs in the series still sold well, all of the following release titles were still critically panned by critics, and were, I think, subject to over-exaggerated, unfair criticism that was only tolerated because of how poorly Sonic as a character was perceived at the time. While I would never go as far as to say that all of these reviewers' criticisms were invalid, because this era of Sonic releases certainly did have their fair share of fundamental issues, certain reviewers, especially those at IGN, I think did not do their part in examining these games fairly. This all came to a head, I think, in the year 2008, the year Sonic Unleashed released. That year, IGN released their now infamous review of Sonic Unleashed for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Here are some highlights.
There's one thing you should know about Sonic Unleashed before spending your hard-earned money on it. It's a big piece of garbage. Indeed, it's games like this that make reviewers rethink their lives. It's kind of like having a group of 5-year-olds come up with ideas after giving them a bowl full of sugar. Sure, there are fun parts buried inside, but don't subject yourself to the pain.
The review is obviously overwhelmingly negative, despite him admitting that the daytime portions of Unleashed are actually enjoyable. Not only does he blatantly rag on Unleashed as a whole, but this review offers barely any examples of constructive criticism, saying that the nighttime portion should have just been completely removed, rather than offer suggestions on how they could have been improved. It also certainly doesn't help that the review consists of only footage of the first portion of Sonic Unleashed, meaning the reviewer most likely did not play it to completion. He levies complaints against Unleashed's controls, calling them unresponsive.
The jump button can be fatally unresponsive at times,
yet shows a clip of himself purposely jumping off into a bottomless pit. Never mind the fact that he doesn't seem to understand how the boost or quick step function, which are both mechanics that are explained in depth in Sonic Unleashed's starting level. Sonic Unleashed was obviously the most apparent victim of the post-Sonic 06 treatment of the Sonic franchise, which is truly a shame, considering Sonic Unleashed appeared to be something of a last hurrah from Sonic Team, made as an apology for the disaster that was Sonic 06. Sonic Unleashed appeared to have received the largest budget of any entry in the series since 06. Not only did it introduce a gameplay method that would become synonymous with the franchise for years to come, but Unleashed also made use of the newly developed Hedgehog engine. Being 2 years in the making, the Hedgehog engine allowed for seamless transitions from 3D to 2D, and made use of a new technology called Lightfield, allowing for CGI quality graphics to be rendered in real time. This, along with Unleashed's dazzling art style, made for what is still the best looking entry in the series by far, made all the more impressive by Unleashed's recent addition to the titles the Xbox Series X is backwards compatible with. This, along with its long length, Pixar-level CGI cutscenes, hub worlds, and an orchestrated soundtrack, all made for one of the most memorable, polished entries in the Sonic franchise by far. This truly felt like the last time Sega genuinely gave Sonic Team the time, budget, and resources to make a real next-generation entry in the Sonic franchise. Despite this being what I, and a large amount of the community feel about it nowadays, Sonic Unleashed was a huge wake-up call for Sega and Sonic Team. Despite being a commercial success, selling over 2.5 million copies, the reception of Sonic Unleashed showed Sega that no matter how many resources they allocated and how much time they gave to Sonic Team, new entries in the Sonic franchise would always inevitably score poorly. There was a sense that Sonic as a brand needed to shift. 2009 eventually came and saw the release of Sonic and the Black Knight, another entry in the Sonic Storybook series which released on the Nintendo Wii, the first being titled Sonic and the Secret Rings. These were both what I thought, completely harmless, inoffensive spin-offs of the Sonic franchise. Fun, albeit short entries in the franchise that hold over as fans in between the mainline releases. Unsurprisingly though, Secret Rings and Black Knight were both critically panned by critics, receiving middling review scores, with most of the blame being put on each entry's reliance on motion controls. I call Black Knight, at least, an anomaly of the Sonic franchise. After Sonic Unleashed, it became increasingly apparent that the Sonic franchise needed heavy reconstruction in order to get him back into the limelight. Although, Sonic and the Black Knight is still very much a Dark Age Sonic title. This can most likely be chalked up to the time of its development. Considering Black Knight and Sonic Unleashed were likely being developed at the same time, and it was too late in development to be cancelled after the critical panning of Sonic Unleashed, it also seems as though that the Sonic Storybook series was supposed to be a trilogy. Considering after the release of Black Knight, Sega released a poll asking fans what setting they would like a potential sequel to Black Knight to occur in. This, of course, never came to fruition because of the heavy reconstruction the Sonic franchise would go under in the following year. In March of 2010, it was announced by Sega that they would be removing all the substandard Sonic games from retail. It's not exactly known as to how they classify an entry as substandard, but it's generally believed that they would be delisting all entries in the franchise that scored under a 75% on Metacritic. This was conducted by Sega in hopes of strengthening the brand and preventing any confusion among customers in the wake of Sonic Colors and Sonic Freeriders. While in good faith, I find this move to be particularly questionable. While yes, delisting the worst entries in the franchise could marginally increase the perception of the brand for a certain amount of time, all those supposedly bad entries still exist. Delist them all you want, you can't erase them from history. All you're doing is preventing yourself from not capitalizing on your own back catalog. As said by Jurgen Post, Sega's former senior vice president for Europe, Middle East, and Africa territories, delisting would be very important when more big Sonic games were released. He said that Sega could make a lot of money on Sonic back catalog titles, but didn't want to run into problems of cannibalizing its own sales. Make of this what you may. 2010 also became the year that Sega and Sonic Team would attempt to homogenize the Sonic brand. Akinori Nishiyama, who had previously served as both producer and director on past titles such as Sonic 06, Unleashed, and various spin-offs, was replaced by Takashi Iizuka. Having been with Sega since 1992, and previously having worked multiple prominent roles on various entries of the Sonic franchise over the past 2 decades, Iizuka felt that the Sonic brand had been dwindling because it lacked direction. Because of this, Sega appointed him as creative director and encouraged Iizuka to refocus on more traditional side-scrolling elements and fast-paced gameplay. Gone were the larger-than-life scope of previous titles, multiple playable characters, and more grounded subject matter for entries that were more by the books, taking great inspiration from Sonic's original run for the Genesis. This effort saw the release of Sonic 4 Episode 1, a 2D entry made to carry on the legacy of those Genesis originals, and Sonic Colors. Colors was a Wii exclusive, which introduced us to a new, albeit divisive voice actor for Sonic in Roger Craig Smith.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
Yeah, this is the real me. Pretty cool, huh?
And Happy Tree Friends writers Ken Pontac and Warren Graff were now helming its story. With all of these changes being embraced at the same time, it truly felt that Sonic had entered into a new era. Colors performed well, both commercially and critically, being heralded as the best entry in the franchise in years, and being praised for not featuring any alternative forms of gameplay. You simply only played as Sonic for its entirety. Sega then continued this momentum with Sonic Generations for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, an anniversary title that brought back classic Sonic, and perfected the boost formula introduced in Sonic Unleashed. Ever since 2010, Sonic was now 2.0, and the possibilities felt endless. The franchise finally had a formula that they could legitimately deem successful, and with the advent of the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 being released in a couple years, Sonic could boost off into more powerful hardware and run through even more dazzling, graphically impressive environments. This is where I wish the video could end. From this point, I wish Sega could have just released 3 to 4 more boost titles, but this wasn't the case. After the release of Sonic Generations, it seemed as though Sonic couldn't be stopped. 2012 saw the release of Sonic 4 Episode 2, and Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed. Sonic as well appeared in a commercial for Progressive and was even featured prominently in the 2012 film Wreck-It Ralph. Post 2012 though, there was a bit of a lull period where no entries were being released. Being a fan since the early 2000s, this was especially odd for me. In the dark ages, a new mainline title would be released every other year, with multiple spin-offs being released yearly. Even during the height of the meta era, entries began to release much more slowly. I guess this is a result of the homogenization of the brand. More releases means more potentially poorly received titles, and Sega was no longer one to take risks. In May of 2013, came the announcement that Sega was collaborating with Nintendo to make all entries in the Sonic franchise exclusive to their consoles for the next 3 years. Especially for a fan such as myself at the time, this decision just did not compute. Why would Sega confine themselves to the Wii U, not only the least powerful console at the time, but also the console with the smallest install base? Did Sega believe that fans of the franchise mostly owned Nintendo consoles? Sonic Generations released only 2 years prior and showed us that Sonic has a more than healthy fan base on the Xbox and PlayStation side of things. So what value would there be in confining yourself to one console manufacturer? Any way you looked at this just did not make sense. The results of this deal would first culminate with the release of Sonic Lost World in 2013. With the release of Sonic Lost World, this Nintendo and Sega collaboration began to make a little more sense. During this time, Sonic had begun crossing over into various other Nintendo franchises, such as The Legend of Zelda and Yoshi, and a major talking point against Sonic Lost World was its resemblance to Super Mario Galaxy. The circular, planet-like construction of its world did bear striking resemblance to Galaxy 1 and 2, along with its diversion away from the boost formula, made for a slower-paced, more explorative platformer that was received poorly by both fans and critics. It seems as though as this sort of want for Sonic Lost World to be embraced by fans of Nintendo, which by and large is not what the typical Sonic fan is asking for, led to Lost World not being very much liked by anyone really. It wasn't what fans of Sonic wanted, and Nintendo fans already had, well, Mario. During this time, another entry in this deal with Nintendo was released, being Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games. Earlier that year, however, Sega revealed the newest venture in the Sonic franchise. Sonic Boom wasn't a spin-off in the traditional sense, but it would be a segment of the Sonic franchise that would run concurrently along with the mainline titles. This, along with the announcement of an accompanying Sonic Boom TV show, would be the first time Sonic would be on television since Sonic X in 2003. Unfortunately though, due to a variety of factors, such as the engine Sonic Boom had been built on not being natively supported by the Wii U, a console Sonic Boom wasn't even originally developed for, and being absolutely riddled with bugs and glitches because of it, it was absolutely lambasted by the gaming industry. It is now recognized as the worst selling entry in the Sonic franchise, only selling 400,000 copies worldwide. Sonic Boom was torn apart in a similar manner as Sonic 06. Fans had thought that something similar to Sonic 06 could never happen again, but boy did Sega prove us wrong. And they would pay the price for this mistake by losing over $13 billion during that fiscal year. Ragging on Sonic at the time felt like beating on a dead horse. Sonic Forces, releasing 3 years later, saw similar reception. It may have sold well and was a long-awaited return to the boost formula, as well as actually having an attempt at a somewhat serious narrative, but graphically, it didn't even look better than Unleashed. Its levels were too short, a lot of fans didn't care for character customization, and classic Sonic was seemingly shoehorned in only because of Sonic Mania, a new 2D classic Sonic entry that was widely loved by fans and critics and was what I believed to be Sonic's only saving grace for what was at the time the past 4 years.
All right, bring it on!
Going forward, it's easy to see why Sega has put such a large emphasis on multimedia and why they're barely advertising Sonic Frontiers. And the news in terms of Sonic on screen doesn't seem to be stopping. As of February 2022, Sonic 2 is already being confirmed to be receiving a sequel, and Knuckles is even being given his own spin-off show on Paramount+. Not to mention that Sonic even appeared in a commercial during Super Bowl 56, another testament to how well Sonic is being advertised by Paramount. It seems as though Sonic can not only run concurrently in multiple forms of media, but his ventures into film has widely overtaken the mainline series in terms of public perception and quality. It's sad to see how mishandled Sonic has been over the years. Even what should be considered easy wins for Sega, like the re-release of Sonic Colors, was botched. It was riddled with dozens of glitches and even had bugs so bad that they could induce seizures in certain players. The bare minimum can't even be expected from Sega nor Sonic Team. In order for Sonic to be as respected as he once was, Sonic needs to have competitive, consistent output. This doesn't mean you can release one solid product every couple of years, but that each succeeding title needs to be better or at least as good as the last. Sega needs to curate an environment where its employees feel secure, are paid well, and are treated fairly. This will ensure higher employee retention, and when your employees are treated well, they will be more inclined to stay and become more experienced, being more easily able to create high quality products. And considering the recent news of Sega of America being understaffed, and the unfortunate fact that many of the key members of staff that worked on Sonic Unleashed have left Sega to work at Nintendo, shows Sega has done the opposite of curate a positive work environment. Even if Frontiers releases and turns out not to be all that, things will be okay. Sonic always eventually finds a way, and even if he doesn't, well, we'll always have his enormous back catalog of entries, fan creations, and the endless amount of Sonic Generations mods released since 2011. Honestly, the thought of Sonic Movie 2, or hell, even the first Sonic film being a child's first exposure to the franchise just kinda warms my heart. While the first film obviously played into the trends of films such as Alvin and the Chipmunks and the Smurfs, the second seems like it's going to have a lot more emphasis on the actual Sonic characters and not the human beings. And it's doing its damnedest to fit in as many video game references as possible. Even if Sonic can no longer excel in the video game space, he's doing a damn good job in film. And hopefully, this will bleed into Sonic Prime, and eventually someday, back into the video games. This has been NOLOAF. Till next time.